Rural schools played an important part in the education of the children in Teutopolis. Before 1886, all the kids who lived outside of Teutopolis attended school in Teutopolis. That was before the paved roads and the highways, so it made it really difficult for those people who were in the country to get to school. So in 1886, a petition was approved and they started districts, school districts. So, and the goal was that each child should have to walk no more than 2.5 miles to school. At one time, the area of land that now comprises Teutopolis School District had at least 8 schools plus the Teutopolis School. Now, there was also one-room country schools. To the south, there was Maple Grove School, and to the east was Plane Tree School. Now, I'm partial to Plane Tree School because I went to first grade in Plane Tree School in 1954, 1955. Inside, when you got inside our school, there were like 5 straight rows of desks. In the first row, there were 4 first graders, and then in the second row, I started out with the second grader. The lone second grader was Jerry Taylor. And Jerry Taylor has always maintained, and rightly so, that he was the smartest kid in second grade. Behind Jerry sat the 4 third graders. Then the next row started 2 fourth graders and 2 fifth graders and 3 sixth graders and no 7th graders. And then in the last row we had 6 8th graders. In talking to others who went to one-room country schools, the one common statement was that we all worked together to learn. John Feardy, who was an 8th grader when I was a first grader, said that the older kids were all so willing to help us younger kids learn. And that was true. But typically, a bright spot in the room was Mrs. Huffman. She always dressed up, even though she came into this one-room country school. And I loved her flowery perfumes, and she had nice summer dresses, and there was just something special about her. So every morning she wanted to make sure that we had brushed our teeth. So she'd say, raise your hand if you've brushed your teeth. Raise your hand if you've combed your hair. Raise your hand and show your clean handkerchief. Another thing that would happen every year was that there would be a picnic. I don't remember the picnic, but that was held in May. And then at the end of the school year in 1955, we gathered together all those things that we had been using. The water bucket was put on the shelf and never used again, and that colored chalk that I liked so well that they illustrated the poems with, that was packed up and taken to the town school. And then the handbell was rung for the last time, and that was it. Plane Tree School was no more. And the next year, in 1955, the one-room schools were closed. Maple Grove was closed and Plane Tree was closed, and we all rode that yellow school bus into town, into the new brick school, and no kids played again at Plane Tree.
Teutopolis Community Unit School District 50 is a preschool through 12th grade school district. We have approximately 1,000 students and 135 staff members. The school district truly began in 1841. It was the first schoolhouse within Teutopolis. It was established by early settlers and then grew in 1858 with the Franciscans' establishment of St. Joseph. It was both a school and a seminary for men. Later, during that same decade, the School Sisters of Notre Dame expanded a school called St. Mary's for the girls of Teutopolis. For the next 50 years, the school system continued to grow. In 1914, the school district officially originated as a public institution and opened its doors to grade school and junior high students for the community. Then in 1919, the school district expanded into the high school levels. And in 1929, they built the first high school called Teutopolis Township High School. The school district has seen its fair share of changes throughout the decades. As recently as the closure of Green Creek, Lilyville, and Bishop schools, in 1997, the construction of a dedicated junior high school, the inclusion of kindergarten and preschool for our younger students, And the addition of programs and opportunities is wide-ranging from extracurricular, band, choir, and many other programs that truly give our students of Teutopolis great opportunity for growth. The tradition at Teutopolis extends certainly into the classrooms and our academic success. Students at Teutopolis for English language arts, mathematics, and science continue to outperform state scores or state averages, and for this we're very proud. We also have a great deal of extracurricular opportunities, and we've certainly had our fair share of success in the fine arts, in programs, and certainly in athletics. Our students also have a wide variety of opportunities within the high school, which include diversified occupations, health occupations, CEO for those that might be interested in entrepreneurship, shop class, welding class, and a variety of other programs to truly engage our academic learners. High expectations are the norm in Teutopolis and certainly within the school district, but students are able to achieve to great lengths because they're supported by both home and community. This means that those high expectations are ultimately accomplished because of the supportive environment that are created by parents and nurtured within our schools. Believing that our children can be encouraged environments beyond the classroom is extremely important to this community and to our school district. Offering opportunities for fine arts, athletics, and supplemental programs not only enriches the experience for the child, but it also creates long-lasting memories and opportunities for them, their families, and their friends. The success of students in Teutopolis schools is in large part due to the foundation established by the parents at home, but we also can't neglect our supportive staff and faculty within our school system. It's because of their dedication, their commitment to growing in their craft, pursuing professional development opportunities, and to continue to meet students where they are and to help them to achieve to the greatest degrees possible that we are as successful as what we are. Another important factor for success for our students in the Teutopolis School District are the partnerships that we have with many of our community-based organizations. This is true from partnerships with the village, the church, Teutopolis Education Foundation, and many other organizations. The commitment and volunteerism of our local businesses and local parents and community members to support our children create an environment where our students have every opportunity to succeed. We are Teutopolis Wooden Shoes, and we are proud of our hometown.
Who will be better because of what I do today? Was the common theme to what Craig Lindvahl did. Well, in the early 80s, we needed a band director. And Craig Lindvahl came to town thinking, okay, I'll teach here a couple years and then I'll move on to someplace bigger, someplace better. Well, he fell in love with the kids, he was in love with music, and he fell in love with this little town. And he and his wife stayed here and became career teachers. The band program expanded, the music program expanded, and Craig instilled in the kids daily who will be better for what I do today. In 2007, a group of area movers and shakers got together and had this idea. Let's create a CEO class, a Creating Entrepreneurial Opportunities class. And from the very beginning, the discussion involved Craig. With whatever we do at the end, we want Craig Lindvahl to be the facilitator. Well, like anything else, it took time to figure out how do we get from idea to reality. Well, by the fall of 2008, CEO had its first class here in this area. It was amazing. It took off and kids loved it. By 2013, there were 5 programs. And Craig then also started a nonprofit organization called the Midland Institute that was going to help communities not just establish, but thrive with their CEO class. In 2015, there were 27 programs. It is amazing. The first class in Ohio will start this fall. We had a class this year start in Kansas. We have classes in Minnesota, Colorado, Indiana, and Alabama, plus a huge amount here in Illinois. CEO is this wonderful marriage of education and business. The kids get hands-on knowledge of how a business works and what the businesses are in their area. Because the long-range goal is not just to educate the kids, but it's to wow the kids into someday I want to live in my little town. T-Town Bank has a loan officer that came back after going through this program. We have accountants. We have people who own brick and mortar businesses after CEO. But yet not everyone has to major in business. We have people who've gone into medicine, amazing nurses, teachers, you name it. What I'm most proud of with all of this CEO, because I've been involved now for 10 years, it's a great blend of education and business with the goal of being a person who ignites the excitement in these kids when they go from my small town has nothing to offer me to I can't wait to someday come back. And it's just amazing to watch that transformation, because there's an awful lot of kids who, when they start this program, have the idea of I can't wait to get out. And after CEO, it's I can't wait to come back someday.
We won state in 1986. Back then there were two classes, 1A and Class 2A. We won the Class 1A Boys State Championship team in 1986 with a record of 33-0. Our starters for the team were guards, the late Todd Kreger and myself, forwards Ted Wiesing and Theo Hemmon, and our center was Bob Struzen. He was also our All-Stater. So we had 4 seniors that came off the bench. They were Mike Donaldson, Dean Hilley, Craig Powell, and Dennis Ruhal. We also had 3 juniors that came off the bench, and they were Jeff Hardick, Rich Harkey, and Tim Smith. Coaches were Coach Ken Crawford, he was our head coach. Our JV coach was the late Larry Johnson, as well as our fresh soft coach, Scott Thomas. Our journey to our state championship started probably back in our sophomore year. Bob Struzen, Ted Wiesing, and Craig all were moved up to varsity then. Our season ended for the varsity that year getting beat by Flora in the regional championship by 2 points. Our junior year, which was the 84-85 season, and we ended up getting beat in the regional championship again by Flora by a heartbreaking 1 point. It was a devastating loss. 3 consecutive years that Coach Crawford had been beat by Flora in the regional championship. So our senior year, we knew we were kind of going to be good because we had 4 returning lettermen. We started out 6-0, headed into the prestigious Charleston Holiday Tournament. We ended up winning the tournament, so after the tournament we're 10-0, and that's really when we decide, you know, we've got some talent here, we've got some potential to go deep into the postseason. We go into the regional, and lo and behold, it's down at Flora. We ended up playing Flora in the championship, and we ended up winning by 10 points down at Flora, so that was a great win. Of all the wins that we had, that was probably one of the more memorable wins that we had during the season. To say that there was a frenzy going on in T-Town, it would be an understatement. Signs were all over, cars and windows were painted. It was just a lot of fun going on at Teutopolis at that time. We win the sectional, and then we're scheduled to face Venice. We go to Charleston on Tuesday. With 1 minute and 54 seconds to go in the game, we're down by 8 points. We fouled, they missed their free throws, and we ended up pulling out a 2-point victory there for that super sectional win. We moved into the state tournament that Friday evening, played a team out of south of Chicago called Westmont. They had an all-stater on the team who had scored 40 points the game before in the super sectional to get into that state tournament. Todd Kreger did an outstanding job on him, held him to 10 points, and we cruised to that game. That led us to the game on Saturday morning against a tall and talented Hoops and East Lynn team. We played behind the first half. We were down at halftime. We came out and eventually won in the second half by 12 points. So that was a good win for us in that semifinal game. That led us into the state championship game that night against a small town team out of Ohio. I think they only had 80 80-some kids in their school. They had 2 All-Staters on their team, and we ended up playing what Coach Crawford called a triangle and 2 defense. Bob Thrusen and Todd Kreger were to play their 2 All-Staters, and they absolutely dominated them, and we cruised to a 82-45 victory that game. That 37-point margin still remains as a record in championship history in state games. We still get together, we still talk about games, we still talk about the basketball games and memories. A lot of laughs, a lot of laughs talking about the memories. Like I always say, the 2 attributes of our team, other than our talent and experience on senior dominated team, was we respected our coaching staff. Us players, we were really friends on the team. So I always say that was our 2 biggest attributes of our team. That really was our journey to our state championship 33-0 season.
The Teutopolis Lady Shoes, we won state in 1986, and we were 31-1. Would we have loved to have been undefeated? Yes. However, one of the games that we played, it was our 2nd game there, Sandy Brown Michaels broke her hand before that game. We lost that game, and we were 1-1, so she was very upset. So she said, I don't care what the doctor says, I'm going to play. So we taped it up, and there we went, our 30-game winning streak. The girls that were on the team were seniors: Lisa Shoemaker, Sandy Brown Michaels, Beth Nieberge-Hartke. We had 1 junior, which was Gina Beckman-Zeruzen, and our sophomores were Kim Blummer-Beckman, Cindy Taylor Frederking, Donna Nieberge-James, Angie Ruhal Jansen, Lori Holman Thompson, Mary Jo Werman Cody, and our freshman was Connie Ruhal Schultz. And our coaches, the late Coach Dennis Custer, Terry Wertman, and Diane Leedy. Through that whole season, we won by 30 or 40 points each game. We were very talented with our girls, but the one thing that Coach Custer taught us, and what he did, was when you came onto the court, you were not a girl, and you were an athlete, and he treated us that way. So if you had any issues, you left it on the court, on the outside, and you stepped on that court and you worked. He said every time that if you give 110% each game, in every game, and if you lose, there was nothing that you could have done about it because you gave it your all. The one thing that makes our team unique is we went to state 4 years in a row. Our seniors, Lisa and Sandy and Beth and I, were on varsity our sophomore, junior, and then our senior year. So our senior year came, and we just looked at each other and we said, we got to do it. With Coach Custer, we had roles on our team. My role was to shoot and score, but the other girls allowed me to do that. And I give them all the credit in the world for helping me be as successful. With Coach Custer, he put us together. It was his first year at T-Town in '83. And so the first 4 years, he just had success all the time. So when we won state, and we felt like we had to because the boys did. So I'm like, we have to win. It was like so much pressure on us. We're like, we were saying the third time was a charm for us. Well, they come up and say, well, we did it on the first time. So we had a little razzing going in the senior class when we did that. With Massac County was our state championship. It was close, nip and tuck the whole game. That was the best game Beth Nieberge-Hartke had. Sandy also had one of her best games also, and she has one for block shots. So it was just a very team-oriented, and I have to say I give that credit to Coach Custer. He made us girls learn how to be a team. He taught us that the role that you have to play in order to to be a team and a winning team. When we get together and we look at each other, it's just, I don't know, it brings back such good feelings knowing that we won state that year. Yes, we were the first ones to win state, but then they took a break in 1987 and they won it in 1988, 1989, and 1990.
How you like that basketball? We got two championship basketball teams there to end the story there. Doris Carey-Zaruzin and Kevin Ruhal. We'll hear from Kevin Ruhal in just a second there. Great tradition of basketball in T-Town. The girls have won 5 championships and the boys have won 1. So again, we'll talk to Kevin Ruhal in just a second about that boys team.
I want to give a shout out to the Wooden Shoes tonight. If you were part of a winning team, which we know T-Town has winning teams, we want you to give us a call tonight. Support Teutopolis. This is our story. The number is at the bottom of your screen. We've got operators standing by right now.
That's right. We heard from Superintendent Matt Sturgeon. So Wooden Shoe Nation, we want to hear from you. There you go.
Absolutely. We've got the trophies here. We showcased those a little bit earlier this evening. We had Angie and Brad Custer brought those in. So we've got both trophies in here with us. Proud to have those as part of our set tonight.
It was a good year in 1986 for T-Town basketball.
It must have been a great year.
We got a bunch more DVDs called in here, so I guess we should read off some names, shouldn't we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we have John and Chris Meddy from T-Town, Karen Caravella from T-Town, we have Barb Rundy from T-Town, and the last one I have on my list, thank you to our first storyteller of the night, Rick Seymour. Thank you, Rick.
Absolutely, thank you. We'd also like to thank Marilyn Harmon back here. Thank you so much. Mary Niemerg, Greg Osland, did I say that right? And Beth Hewing, and these papers are sticking together. We've also got Ryan Ruhal. So thank you all for supporting Teutopolis. This is our story.
We had a lot of faces in that segment there with all the school stories. Loved Gene Sehi's story on the country schools. We've talked about that in other Our Story programs, and great to hear from one of those people that went through the country schools, hear about their experiences and their teachers as well.
For sure. We're learning more as we go through this evening about who's related to who and all the different names. Now, I couldn't pronounce the name earlier, so I got the right pronunciation of it. It's Mickey Pasalakwa and Matt Poss, who performed with Dakota at the Brickbat when we went down there. That's his mother. And she is also the sister of Rick Seymour. So we thank the entire family for supporting us this evening.
Absolutely. And we had a story from Kent Probst about Craig Lindvahl and the CEO program. Started in Effingham County, has blossomed and ballooned all over the country, 40-some programs across the country. And Craig Lindvahl, his contributions to the community are endless, but it started for T-Town as their band director.
For sure. So if you're part of the CEO program, we're going to send a shout out to you as well. A challenge is there, sitting there waiting for you to call us tonight. The phones are busy. We appreciate all of the calls coming in tonight. We want to give you a shout out. So if you're part of that program, have a child that's part of that program, support our story because we are showcasing the CEO program tonight.
Absolutely. The heart of T-Town, the church, the schools, and so we just showcased that last block all about the schools and their importance, and again, lots of faces. So if you saw your child or someone you know in those, give us a call.
We've got lots of laughter going on back here. I'm eager to find out what's going on. We're having a great time tonight. We're offering Blu-rays and DVDs tonight. We've also got orders for 43 or 44 DVDs and 3 or 4 Blu-rays right now. We're trying to beat some records here tonight because we know T-Town is a record-beating community. So I'm going to talk to Mick Daters here tonight. He was part of the school system for a while, as I found out. And he's got a story coming up later in the program, the next segment, as a matter of fact. So tell us what you did in the school system.
Well, I taught at Teutopolis for about 32 years, and I taught at the junior high level, math and science.
32 years. 32 years. And you just retired.
And I've just retired, yes. I went to, when I retired from the public school system, I went to a little Catholic school for 10 years in Sigel, Illinois.
All right. Now, a storyteller that we just, that we just heard from, Gene Sehi. You said that's your sister.
It's my sister, that is correct.
And she told the story of the country schools. And what were you telling me about your farm and the school?
Well, our farm is connected right across the road from the country school.
A great memory for your sister.
Oh, yeah. She didn't have to walk very far.
No, she didn't.
Kids had to walk pretty far, but she had it. she only walked maybe an eighth of a mile to a quarter of a mile one way.
So
it's uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways, that's what we hear. Well, we appreciate you being here tonight and supporting us and being a storyteller. His story's coming up in the next segment, and he's been a lifelong resident of T-Town, and so he's going to share a few memories of his story. Ramin is going to interview Kevin Ruhal across the set.
Thank you, Kian. Great to hear that story. Great to hear from Mick Daters. Look forward to seeing his story about growing up in T-Town. I'm joined to my left. Kevin Ruhal was our storyteller, the 86 boys basketball team. Thanks for being here. Kevin, I see this picture behind us of some of the championships that have been won. You contributed to that with the 86 team, which is the one boys championship. You referenced in your story a player and coach that are obviously no longer with us. Yeah. Tell us about your point guard on that team, Todd Kreger.
So Todd Kreger was our number one point guard, and he was our defensive star, Walton. And I can't emphasize enough how much of a role he played on our championship team that year. I mean, he always got stuck with the best player on the other team, and he usually shut them down to below their normal season average.
And you referenced that, and you saw from the footage, he had quite a run there in the state tournament. So he played his best basketball. Best
defensive that he could have ever played was in those 3 games, and I think he made first or second team. I think he may have made first team.
That's right. Very good. You also referenced in your story one of your assistant coaches is no longer with you. Tell us about Larry Johnson.
Coach Larry Johnson. He left us in 1993. What a great coach he was. I mean, he had a different coaching style, but we had a lot of laughs with him. He taught us a lot of life lessons, but we also laughed a lot with him, and a lot of things were left in the practice gym.
All right, before I send it back over to Kian, how much fun was that run there of being in T-Town with both the boys and girls that year?
I can't emphasize how much fun it is to talk about it and how much fun it was that year that we did that.
Great to share those stories. Again, T-Town is Title Town, all those championships, basketball and baseball. Kian, back over to you.
How fun is that? All the memories from the championship games, still remembering all the statistics that go along with that. And Doris's story was just the same. So fun to be a part of that. So if you remember being back during that day, you're watching tonight, or if you have someone who was part of one of those championships and you want to get them a gift, this is a gift like no other. This is a one-time place that you can get something that archives that history, told by one of the players, 2 of the players if you had someone on the girls team as well. This is a great gift to give somebody. We've got holidays coming up at the end of the year. We've got Father's Day coming up. What a great gift that would be.
Absolutely. Relive some of those memories. I don't know what was in the water in 1986, but it was some darn good basketball there in T-Town. And what a run it's been for their basketball programs there. And Coach Custer, he had a nice run there for the girls basketball team. 5 championships in his time at T-Town. So the late Dennis Custer got it done there with the T-Town girls basketball team.
You see some of the wooden shoes right there, one of the steins. We've got lots of different things showcasing Teutopolis tonight. We've got more stories coming your way, showcasing different things about Teutopolis. We're a little more than halfway through the program.
Absolutely.
We've got Don Brown and Mike Funneman coming up next, talking about the American Legion Post and the Veterans Memorial.
Some other organizations. Peter Nickham's going to talk about community support systems and what they do in Teutopolis. And also Dwayne Kramer talks about the continuing medicine and facilities and things for people in the town. Started with the Rundys back in the day, and he's continuing that. And then we have a husband and wife duo telling their respective stories. Rebecca Daters talks about Home Farmers Mutual Insurance Company. And Kian just talked to Mick Daters. He's going to talk about growing up in T-Town and playing ball.
That's right. And then we have Dave Prummer, Big Leagues, Back to the Small Town, coming up as well. So lots of interesting stories coming your way. But once again, we're still live here in the studio. We're streaming again on our website, YouTube, Facebook. We had over 50 viewers just a little while ago on our Facebook page.
That's
so
great.
We want to thank all of the viewers, no matter how you're watching.
And I hear a lot of talking behind us, so let's get it louder here as we're in the back half, as they say, of this program. Let's keep it going.
You know, it takes a village, literally a village like Teutopolis, and like our staff and students here, our volunteers, to produce a program like this and to bring it to you live in the studio. And we're honored to be a part of this program, to showcase Teutopolis, the rich history that it has, and where it's going into the future.
Absolutely. To put it in a sports metaphor, we started this process in the preseason, we got it going, and now we're at the home stretch of the ball game. And we look forward to hearing from everyone out there that's watching and supporting this program here on WEIU.
This is our 15th program that we've done in the Our Story series. We started this back in 2014.
In this county, Effingham.
In Effingham County, but we're showcasing Teutopolis this evening. We're so proud of it, showcasing all the different types of things. We want you to show your pride in Teutopolis tonight. Give us a call, go online. We'll give you a shout out in the next break. Don't go anywhere. We're getting back to the rest of the stories. Teutopolis,
this is our story.